what I'm trying to help people understand now is like authenticity is the new enlightenment. In order to have a high vibe, that doesn't mean you have to feel good 24/7. And you're not always going to have a high vibe. It's nice to like aim for that. To expect that of yourself is not self-loving because it's not possible. You're a human in a 3D experience. There's going to be contrast. So giving yourself the grace and the space to ride it without judgment, that's where the high vibiness comes in.
Welcome, Badass Manifester. I am so glad you are here. I'm your host and head coach, Ashley Gordon, master mindset and manifestation biz expert, founder of the quantum coaching certification, and multiple six-figure entrepreneur obsessed with empowering you to create quantum leaps in your energy, your life, and your business. This is the show to help you make magic your everyday normal, where the ripple effect is real and the guest experts are world class. My mission is to power your conscious and subconscious mind with manifestation teachings, business tools, and coaching techniques to put your potential into action. Consider this your weekly up level. Are you ready for quantum transformation? Let's do this. Welcome to the show, Badass Manifestors. I am super pumped because we have a light beam of a guest today. Her name is Kelsey Aida. She is a next generation thought leader who has taught thousands of people on how to own their power and win at life through, she has an inspirational blog, she has online courses, she has one-on-one coaching, she's hosted international retreats. She's also an author of #ActuallyICan, the art of affirming yourself to greatness, affirmations for happiness, and co-host of a popular personal development podcast, which I got to be on, which is so much fun, called High Vibin It. Check her out in all the places. I'm so excited that she's here. Like, welcome to the show. It's going to be an awesome episode. Everything that comes out of your mouth, even when we were on our episode, was just like pure gold. So I can't wait for everyone to hear that.
I really appreciate the compliment and the validation and the recognition. And I'm really happy to be here too, because when we did your episode on High Vibin' it was so much fun. We totally had like a soul sister click right from the beginning and so much magic. So I was like, we got to do it again. Let's do it on your show. Let's make it happen.
We were just high vibing it, really.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it goes.
That's how it goes. I mean, it's funny because I've met like so many cool soul sister type people through podcasts, like the magic of fun. Being able to connect with you for, this time and get to know you. I don't know, it's really cool. It's a really cool thing. So yeah. I'm excited for everyone else to get to know you. So why don't you start there and share a little bit more about how, like, you have so many beautiful accomplishments. Like, tell us all about how you became who you are.
Yeah, so it all started with some contrast, as many of the best manifestations do. And I would say my first spiritual initiation, dark night of the soul moment happened in my late teens. And I was training my whole life to be a professional ballet dancer. And then that didn't really work out because I had a lot of injuries. And that kind of led me into a spiral. And then I started birth control, and that messed up my hormones on top of the spiral. And basically all this like melting pot of terrible circumstances happened at one time. I became severely depressed, and I kind of was stuck in that space for like 3 years. And it was really hard, really heavy. I mean, like to the point of like entertaining the idea of suicide, not really like planning to do it, but like, okay, that would be a nicer way than like how I'm living now. And at one point I just realized like, I'm so sick and tired of being sick and tired. Universe, like, please help me just to figure out how to enjoy my life, because I just know in my soul that's not meant to be like this. And when I really made that declaration and like stood my ground, I think I started to manifest the right resources and people and help and support and books and podcasts. And that's when I became like a manifestation junkie, and I was super into positive thinking. And like someone had told me to make a gratitude journal, which really helped to pull me out of the depression, because I was able to like rewire my neurological pathways to focus on what was good and what was working, and the abundance that was already in my life, even though I was in this like, not great space. And basically, long story short, then I was like, I want to become a personal development author. I'm going to be the next Gabby Bernstein. But of course, like nobody knew who I was. So I was like, well, I guess I'll start a blog first. So that's when I started KelseyAida.com, and I would write about manifesting and anxiety and depression and how to feel better and how to raise your vibration and how to love yourself. And then eventually I did write my first book, hashtag I can, which teaches people how to use affirmations in a really authentic way so that they actually work for you. And then a publisher reached out to me and asked me to write another book on affirmations for creating more joy and happiness. So I wrote that one. And now we're 2 books in, 2 courses in, 2 retreats in. This is like a 222, I'm noticing. And a podcast later, coaching services later. Basically, the whole thing just has blown up into a multifaceted way that I help people to own their power and win at life.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow, looking at you, you would never think that you went through something so dark, you know? And I think that that's a huge misconception for like most successful entrepreneurs. Like people are looking at you now and they're like, oh, wow, she's got it all figured out. She's got it all together. And actually, it took you, like you said, like I think you called it your spiritual initiation. Is that what you said?
Mhm.
Yeah, I love that. And like, whoa, contemplating even suicide, like that's dark.
Yeah.
And you pulled yourself out of that. And wow, it really is like a rewiring of the brain, right? Like you had to actually do the work. I remember that in the beginning too, of like figuring out how to actually train my brain. It's wild.
It is, because the brain is so neuroplastic, like how they say, like you really can change it, and quite quickly, honestly, when you're like willing and open.
And then when you open up to the universe, like you were like, universe,
Universe, help me. It's not
help.
supposed to be this way. I just like knew in my heart. I was like, how could I just come to this life just to be miserable? Like that doesn't make any sense at all.
I think that's probably resonating with so many people
I'm like,
along
that
that.
can't be it.
No, that there's more. I've had those same realizations of like this, why are we here, man? Like, what is happening here? Like, there's more.
Yeah. And these days, I believe at this point in my journey that we're here and we come here to experience it all, the highs, the lows, the ups, the downs, the horrible stuff, the amazing stuff. Am I allowed to cuss on your show?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. I almost did like 4 times without
Fucked
like
up
censoring
shit.
myself.
I was
Yeah, so
actually,
we're here to go through the ringer and also like ride the amazing roller coaster. And without all the shitty stuff, we wouldn't really like fully appreciate the awesomeness of life, right? So you have to have the colorful spectrum. And what I always say, like when people are surprised about how like happy or bright that I seem now, I just always think back to the contrast of like there has to be balance, right? So for as far down the rabbit hole of darkness I went, I was also able to expand in the opposite direction,
mm,
right? So now I can hold even more light in my body and my space than I was able to before that because I've been like to the depths also. So it just expands you in both directions, which I think is like really beautiful and cool.
yeah, that's so true. And I always say, like, the deeper we go, the higher we rise.
Yeah, it's just like that.
Yeah. And it's so weird. This morning I went to my chiropractor and she's like my spiritual teacher. She's amazing. And she's read me this poem. It's really short, but it's really in alignment with what you just said. It says, life is amazing and then it's awful. And then it's amazing again. And in between the amazing and awful, it's ordinary and mundane and routine. Breathe in the amazing, hold on to the awful, and relax and exhale during the ordinary. That's just living, heartbreaking, soul healing, amazing, awful, ordinary life. And it's breathtakingly beautiful. I
Yeah, I
love that.
mean, that's the human experience, and I feel like as I mean, I don't really call myself a spiritual teacher, but I guess if we're just going off of labels, I kind of am. So as like a spiritual teacher, one of my goals these days especially is to help people embrace their humanity because I think when you first come into the law of attraction manifestation space, you put this pressure on yourself from all the information that you gather that I need to be positive all the time. There's no space for me to have bad days or negative thoughts. Now I just need to be this perfect robot. So my vibe is like clean and pure all the time, and I can manifest everything good and never anything bad, right? Like how many of us have been there when we started our manifestation journey?
I think it's a stop for everyone.
Yes.
It's like the rose-colored glasses can never come off. Stop.
Yes. And then you realize, okay, I'm feeling kind of inauthentic. It's really hard to feel good all the time. This is not sustainable. And you start
I'm
realizing
doing it
like,
wrong, and I'm doing it wrong, but I don't want to be angry because I don't want to manifest bad
exactly.
things.
So then, like, what I'm trying to help people understand now is like, authenticity is the new enlightenment. In order to have a high vibe, that doesn't mean you have to feel good 24/7, and you're not always gonna have a high vibe. It's nice to, like, aim for that. I think it's a nice goal, but to expect that of yourself is not self-loving because it's not possible. You're a human in a 3D experience. There's gonna be contrast. So giving yourself the grace and the space to ride it without judgment, that's where the high vibiness comes in. The releasing the judgment, releasing resistance, making it okay to feel however you feel. And then you don't have any resistance because resistance is what makes it hard to manifest. Not being angry, not being sad, not feeling how you feel. In fact, if you feel how you feel and you're really authentic and you let things flow, you'll return to a natural homeostasis of like feeling good more often than not. And you actually will be in a more vibrational state more of the time. But if you suppress, deny, and disown how you actually feel, then you're actually, ironically, just making that your point of attraction because your emotional body is going to store that. So you think by suppressing your anger that you're not going to manifest more anger. Well, universe is like, I see your anger inside your body. That's what you're matched to, you know? So you can't like lie about how you feel to the universe. So I think it's in our best interest to just let things flow. And that helps to kind of cleanse our energy and recenter. And then you don't store things and then actually manifest things that you don't want.
That was so profound, especially the start of that of like, it's not your like negative emotions. I'm gonna paraphrase what you said.
Yeah.
Like it's not your negative emotions that are causing the manifestations not to come. It's your resistance
Yes.
to them and to
Yeah.
the
The
reality,
judgment of them.
the
And
judgment
the
of
resistance to
them.
them and saying things like, I shouldn't be feeling this way. I don't
Mhm.
have time to feel this way. Me feeling this way is wrong.
Yeah.
Those are all the things that are blocking your manifestations, not the actual feeling.
You know what's funny is like we started by saying how like, rewiring your mind, like paying attention to your thoughts and like monitoring them. And then you get to this place where like, I can't think a negative thought. And then the next level is really like allowing the emotions. Like it's like you mastered the mental, now mastered the emotional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
It's so cool. It's so true because that's really the journey of like when you're awakening to this. And I love that you said authenticity is the new enlightenment.
Yeah,
Whoa.
because people are trying to be all spiritually perfect. And I'm like, that's
Yeah.
some fucking bullshit. You're
Yeah.
just
We're
like
calling it.
literally doing whatever you were doing before, but like using spirituality as like the way to do it, if
Totally.
that makes sense. It's not that helpful if that's how you're approaching it,
Yeah. And
you know?
I'm at the point now where when I feel resistance come up, when I feel emotions arise, when I'm feeling, funky, I actually have to express it like outward in like I need to scream or I need to dance or I need to shake or I need to like move my body. Like I need to move the energy through me, which has been radical. Actually, been a really good practice for me because it's like I know that if it's stuck there, like you were saying, it gets stuck. I see it as like little energy vortexes that are then going to manifest into some sort of like back pain or stomach tightness or like shoulders or neck shit, like, and that's just energy that needs to move.
Yeah, that's why they're called emotions, how they say
Yeah.
energy in motion,
Emotion. Yeah.
emotion. And that's one of like two really good ways that I've found is helpful for processing, right? So embodiment works a lot, whether that's, talking, screaming, yelling, punching your bed, going for a run, doing a dance. There's lots of different ways to express how you're feeling, create art. There's a lot of
Yeah.
beneficial ways you can express how you're feeling without hurting yourself or someone else. That's the key. And then the other way that I found that's super beneficial is to use mindfulness and watch yourself experience the emotion in your body. So that's like a lot of what I do with my one-on-one clients is I teach them how to watch their feelings happen in their body. And
Mm.
that way they don't get overwhelmed by the feeling and they're just like watching it with compassion and curiosity, like watching the energy move in their body. Like, oh, I'm stressed right now. It feels like a headache in my brain. Oh, when I notice that energy, it starts to move into my throat. Oh, when I notice that energy, it starts to move into my heart or whatever it is. And we just follow it. And sometimes, like,
It
the
leaves.
energy will give like certain messages to
Yeah.
them when they're really paying attention and being with it. Sometimes it's just expanding your tolerance to being uncomfortable and just making it okay to be uncomfortable because that's super valuable. And the whole practice just really builds like emotional resiliency so fast.
That's so beautiful. Like the being with it, meeting yourself where you are, and the emotional resiliency. That's so true. And like it is uncomfortable because when you're feeling uncomfortable and you're feeling resistance, you're like, you immediately usually we go into fight or flight.
Hmm.
So to be with it seems counterintuitive, but it's
Yeah.
actually the solution.
Right. It's like, oh, I don't want to go towards that. But then as soon as you do, it creates resolve so much quicker. And you're like, whoa, I didn't die. I didn't
I
die.
didn't
Like I was
die.
convinced that I was going to die from feeling that thing.
That's so cool. That's so, so cool that you do that work. And when, like, let's just say someone's listening and they're like, yeah, but it's bad. Like they're going through something and they're just like, but I'm different. Like my shit stinks the worst, right? And they're in a little bit more. Do you think that there's a point where people are in so much resistance that might not work for them? And like in that case, what would you say?
Well, here's what you do in that case, the same process. Instead of being with the emotion that you're resisting, you just spend time with the resistance.
Right.
Mhm.
So
So you can just
good.
notice how the resistance feels in your body. You can kind of
Yeah.
ask questions, figure out why the resistance is there, listen with an open heart and curiosity. It's like
You'll get
what you don't
answers.
want to do is resist the resistance, right? So if you can at least open yourself to sitting with the resistance, then usually that will dissolve that layer, that curtain, and then you can go into the emotion that's behind the resistance.
Yeah. Let me ask you a side question,
Yeah.
and we might cut this out if depending. We'll see. Have you sat with any plant medicine?
Not yet. So
Okay.
I personally have not done any hallucinogenics, nothing
Yeah.
like that.
Very
My
cool.
boyfriend's super into that stuff. He's done everything under the stars.
Yeah.
But I really haven't. I'm like basically a purist. I hardly drink
I love
alcohol.
that.
I don't drink any caffeine. I'm like basically allergic to it. I don't drink soda and I haven't done I mean, I use plant medicine in tincture form a lot. So
Sure.
like just small doses for like daily stuff, but I haven't taken any, like,
Cool.
plant medicine journeys yet.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's
Mhm.
awesome. That's awesome.
I'm open.
Um, yeah, it will happen. I just was laughing inside because I just did a journey with ayahuasca
Mhm.
and but like I'm sitting there in this ceremony and I'm just like fighting myself. And my friend, it didn't hit her yet, and it was really hitting me. And I looked at her and I was just like, I'm just fighting myself. She's like, good, fight yourself. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna fight myself. And it just like completely shifted it. Like it's wild how that works. So yes, okay, back to the point. I love
Yeah.
that.
The
Sitting with
embrace and
it.
the acceptance just makes it so much easier because honestly, like, pain, okay, it's inevitable. We're humans, it's gonna happen. But, like, the suffering is not always necessary, and we create a lot of unnecessary suffering when we resist our pain. If you
Mm,
embrace your pain, it's a completely different experience. Yes, it will still hurt, but it's not gonna have that suffering heaviness attached to it. It's gonna feel more like relief.
yes. I say that all the time because I recognize, okay, right now I'm in pain. Am
Mhm.
I gonna choose to suffer or not? And it's a choice. It really is.
Yeah, when you're aware, it's a choice. When you're
when
not
you're
aware,
aware.
it feels like
Yeah, no,
it's not a
totally.
choice.
Totally. What do you think? I think we covered some of the pitfalls around like manifestation. Is there anything else that people should know around like the biggest mistakes they might be making in terms of
Hmm.
creating the reality that they desire?
I feel like there's a lot of places where it can go haywire because,
Yeah.
like, in the law of attraction 101 space, it's like just do your affirmations and think positive and do your vision board and all work out. And then people do that and they're like, what the actual fuck? Where's my stuff? Why isn't it working? You know? And the only reason that your manifestation is being delayed or, on pause or not happening yet is probably because there's some form of resistance inside of you. And so then the opportunity is to find it and resolve it. Or sometimes just by like figuring out what the is and just looking at it and bringing it into your consciousness is enough for it to like resolve itself. Sometimes you don't even have to go past that point.
Totally.
So let me
Yeah,
give an
total disbelief.
example so it makes more
Yeah.
sense. So, for example, when I was wanting to manifest my partner who I'm with now, I was like consciously, like really gun ho, I'm gonna manifest my soulmate. This is great. But I didn't realize until I did some self inquiry and I was very brutally honest with myself that there were actually parts of me that were not on board with a relationship yet. These parts said things like, I actually am really enjoying being single. You haven't spent much time in your adulthood being single. This freedom actually is really nice. And things like, I'm not ready to love again because I was so hurt in the last relationship. Like, relationships equal pain. I don't actually want to be in a relationship. So it's
Mm,
like exploring the parts of you that are self sabotaging, but it's always for like a valid reason.
yeah.
Exploring
There's
those
always a gain.
parts, that is key, because once you can realize like what their concerns are and what they need, then you can kind of get all your parts on board and move all of your energy in the direction towards what you're trying to manifest. Because if you have split energy, like how I just described, which is all resistance is, it's always split energy, you have like a tug of war going on. So some energy is going towards what you want to manifest, but some energy is going like away from it, like running very quickly because some part of you might think it's bad if it happens, or isn't ready for it, or doesn't want that for whatever reason. So, really, like brutal self honesty is a great tool when you're trying to figure out, is there any resistance in my being? And it could be that you're resisting the thing that you want unconsciously, or that you're resisting where you are. And that's preventing
Mhm.
you from getting the thing that you want. Because either way, a state of resistance, not helpful.
Not helpful, but also helpful.
Right. Helpful in the healing journey and
Yes.
consciousness awakening.
Right, which is why no matter where you are, no matter if you have what you want yet or not, you're getting exactly what you need in this moment to awaken and evolve and grow. And I
Well,
think that's
and that's
yeah,
like
so hard.
that's like the manifesting game, right? Because it's like we created this dynamic where our desires really inspire us to grow. So the reason that you want to manifest something is usually because it has like a higher vibration than where you are right now. And the game is like becoming the person who can be in that vibrational state, right? And usually that involves some sort of healing, up leveling, self
Mhm.
discovery, awareness, whatever it is. And like, really, one of the main reasons why we want stuff is to grow and expand. So, manifesting is just like a sexy thing that like the universe entices us with in order to grow. I feel like,
Whoa, that's so good. That's so on point. That
right?
that hits home.
It's like the carrot on the stick. There's always going to be
It
more desire because there's always more healing. And if you can just embrace all of that, then I feel like it's better and more fun.
so good. So powerful. I told you guys, gold, straight gold. Gold on gold on gold. And it's funny because my journey right now is like I have been on the journey of fertility and wanting to get
Mm.
pregnant. And so that has been an entire healing journey. And even though I don't have what I want in this moment, I can finally lean into that trust and that and like the resistance and be honest with myself. And like I'm at that point now, but I wasn't always there, you know?
Mhm.
So trusting your path, and like I know that it's all going to happen, and I also need all of these lessons. So I feel like my child is preparing me for all of the things. Like it's
Yes.
already teaching so much.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Wow.
kind of the parent-child dynamic, right? Like, the
Yeah.
contract is that the child is going to help you to grow spiritually, so it's already working.
Yeah.
And as far as, like, the trust of your life thing, it it really comes back to, like, a trusting of the self, right? Because
Mhm.
if you are the universe, like, people who don't trust their lives, they don't trust themselves, and vice versa. So, if you can learn to trust yourself, and this is where a lot of emotional resiliency comes in and gives you the confidence to trust yourself, because when you're emotionally resilient and you know you can feel anything and still be fine on the other side, then you're not really living your life trying to create certain outcomes so strongly because you're like, well, no matter what happens, I'm good, you
Yeah.
know? And then you're totally free. And then you can trust your life no matter what. And you can trust yourself to make it through and feel good on the other side no matter what.
Total freedom.
Hmm.
Gold.
It's good.
It's really good.
I mean, I wouldn't say total freedom because, we're here in like limited bodies, but a lot more freedom. Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
So on that note, I know like in the beginning of my manifestation journey, I was, training my brain. I'm writing everything down that I want and I'm affirmations, all the things. And now I don't really write my goals. I don't really write anything that I want. Like I trust that the universe knows what I want. My intentions are
Mhm.
already set, like they're already out there. Are you similar or do you write? Because I think people get caught up in like, do I need to write it down 5 times a day? Do I need to write it down once a month? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? Like, what do you say to that?
Yeah. So personally, in my journey, I go in and out of phases.
Yeah.
So I was like you in the beginning, really gun ho about all the manifestation techniques and practices for like the intention setting aspect. But then once I got more deep, it became more about healing work and shadow work and working through my resistance and stuff. And like the universe already knows what I want.
Yeah.
But when I have like new goals and dreams or like specific stuff, I am a big journaler. So I love to go to my journal and write down the things, or especially like focusing on how I want to feel and why I actually want that thing.
Yeah. That's important. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And I do that sometimes, but not like I used to because I
Mhm.
just feel like there's a different level of trust.
Yeah. Well, and this might inspire you too, because lately I've been revisiting some of the basics and I've been listening to this guided meditation that's basically just like a visualization where you visualize like your thing coming into your body and you just see it and you spend like 10 minutes breathing and just like opening, and then you spend 10 minutes like visualizing. And I was doing this around specifically like multiplying my income. So not just making more money, but making my money make money for me and like making good investments and things like that. And I made so much money this week and I was like, it's the manifestation, like
Oh,
meditate, because I did it for like 3 or 4 days in a row and I was just very focused and like really excited about it. And then this week I feel like things blew up. So I mean, call it
oh,
coincidence, call
it
it
works.
manifesting.
No,
I was like, oh, I forgot how good these things work.
right? Oh my God, I'm so with you. Maybe you should.
Yeah, it was really great.
That's awesome. This conversation has been everything. And I want to touch on your book because I know that it's about affirmations
Mhm.
and how to do affirmations in an authentic way that works for you. And I haven't read your book yet, but I'm going to assume, tell me if my psychic powers are right,
Okay.
that it's not just about painted rose colored glasses. It's probably about writing affirmations that you can really get behind.
Yes, girl. Your
Yeah.
psychic senses, spidey senses are on fleek today. So my
Yes.
first book, that's the one that you're really picking up on. That one's called hashtag Actually I Can, the art of affirming yourself to greatness. And it really teaches you how to soften affirmations or tweak affirmations to really match where you are, but at the same time help to either give you relief or give you empowerment. So example would be like, okay, if you want to manifest $1 million, but you're like not a millionaire, and then you're like, oh, my affirmation is I'm a millionaire. And then you like try to say that 1,000 times, but then you feel stupid.
Oh,
That doesn't work. It actually creates more harm than good. And like anyone who's tried that knows that it feels bad. So, what you could do and what I teach you to do in the book is to soften the affirmation. So maybe you could say something like, I'm open to becoming a millionaire in this lifetime. I'm well on my way to learning how to become a millionaire. I'm making more and more money every day. I'm making more and more money every year. Like more realistic, attainable, but still like uplifting statements.
Yes.
And the book, actually, you'll love it. It has like different chapters for different areas of your life. And then those are segmented into like how you feel about that area of your life on any given day. So if you feel shitty about your relationships, there's affirmations for that. If you feel great about your finances, there's affirmations for that. So they're organized by like your vibe.
That is so cool. You guys, go
it's
buy
fun.
all the books. So what's your book about now?
Yeah, so my newest one is called Affirmations for Happiness, and it basically has 200 little like blurbs to just get you started on the right morning, or if you need a little pick me up. It's kind of like something that you would refer to when you're ready to feel better. So
Yeah.
it's not for people who are like in the depths of grief. It's for people who are like, oh, I want to get inspired today. I want to feel good. I'm already feeling good. I want to feel better. And you can use it like an oracle deck. You can just flip to any page, pick an affirmation, read it, meditate on it, and be like, yeah. So I also like to call affirmations beneficial perspectives. So you could think of it as 200 beneficial perspectives to help open you to more joy and happiness.
It sounds like we need both those books, guys. So get to ordering on Amazon.
Yeah.
Search the book. We'll put the links in the show notes for you to make it super easy and accessible. I just love you. This was so good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, anytime. I always love jamming with you, and we got to keep going back and forth. Oh, and if you guys want to listen to the one that we did together on my show, I wrote down the episode for it. It's episode 52. It's called Take Inspired Action and Manifest Your Purpose with Ashley Gordon.
Oh,
boom.
Definitely that. And what makes you a badass manifester?
I would say 90% of the things that I touch turn to gold.
Ooh, baby.
It's a pretty high success rate. But also I think like my sensitivity and emotional resiliency and willingness to do the work and untangle my own resistance makes me much more effective.
Yes. Yes. You're amazing. Thank you. Where can everyone find you and follow you and all the things?
Yeah, so basically, I'm Kelsey Aida on every single social platform. I would say Instagram is my favorite one where I post the most stuff. I just made a TikTok because my book publisher came to me and asked me to write another book about manifesting, not affirmations this time. And they were like, yeah, we want to do a book on manifesting because like that's trending on TikTok. And I was like, oh my gosh, like TikTok is for teenagers. So I went on there, and of course it's a bunch of teenagers teaching these like ridiculous methods of like, you got to write this 5 times a day at this time of the day, and you have to do it in this color pencil, and like all this weird like stuff that you don't need to do. And I was like, I need to get on the TikTok space to set the record straight and put good manifesting information out there. So I made a TikTok, which is funny.
That's awesome. I feel like you are like, I can't wait to read your manifesting book. I think you have a beautiful perspective on it, and so a wealth of knowledge and different information. So
thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kelsey Aida on social, kelseyaida.com. And you can check out High Vibin It, our podcast, mine and Lindsay Robinson's podcast, at highvibinit.com. And that's pretty much all the things. Yeah.
Awesome. You're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. I know you loved it. Tag us. Let us know what your favorite part was. And leave a review. Please stop.
It helps.
Leave a review. It really does help. It really does make a huge difference. And if you leave a review on the podcast and you send me a screenshot, I will send you a gift, a free gift. Cute. All right, y'all. Peace and love. Woo! We did some work today. Thank you so much for listening. You know I love my BAM fam. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who you know would love it too, because we live for the ripple effect over here. And how can you best support the show? Make sure you're subscribed, hit the 5 stars, and leave a review on iTunes, and let me know how the podcast has impacted you. I love being part of your real-time journey, so screenshot the episode and tag me and my guests on Instagram at ManifestWithAsh. Now say it with me. I am my own power source. I am the master of my own energy, and I deserve everything that I desire. We don't just talk about it over here, we be about it. Now go get 'em.